everybody. The topic this time is solving equations using square roots. First, a little reminder, to square a number means to multiply it by itself. Two ways to indicate that you're squaring a number is to use a little exponent up here or to use a little hat symbol like on our calculators. They both mean 5 squared and they both mean 25. Notice that negative 5 squared also would be 25 because we'd have a negative times a negative, which would be a positive. To square root a number is really to unsquare it. So the unsquare of 16 would be 4 because 4 times 4 is 16. The unsquare means the same thing as the square root. The square root of 16 is 4. I know that because 4 times 4 gets me back to 16. And the little symbol that we use for square root is this little guy here. So all of these three mean the square root of 16, and of course that would be 4 because 4 times 4 is 16. Again, our topic for today was to use square roots to solve equations. The key idea that we're going to come to here again and again is to get the thing that's being squared by itself, and then we'll use a square root. So you have to isolate that thing that's being squared first. In the first example, it's the x that's being squared. We need to get that by itself. Right? They skipped a little step going from here to here. They just added 3 to each side. Boom. And then you're to here. This is a relatively nice one. X squared equals 16. I can use a little guess and check to get that done. So I need a number that's square that makes 16. That number could be 4 or negative 4. Done. For the second one, same idea. The thing that's being squared, that square only applies to the x. It does not apply to the 3. So I need to get that x squared by itself. That's going to involve subtracting 4 from each side to get rid of the 4, and then dividing by 3 on each side to get rid of the 3. So subtract 4, and we got 3x squared equals 15. Divide both sides by 3, and we have x squared equals 5. This time, I can't guess and check. I don't know a number that's squared that makes 5. So I would have to go to the calculator if I want a decimal estimate. So x would be the square root of 5, which is about 2.23, or could be the negative square root of 5, which is about negative 2.23. And we are done with that one. So again, the idea is get the thing that's squared by itself. That's sort of easy two-step equation type of thing. And then use a square root to figure out what x itself is. The last example is a little bit tougher. The thing that is being squared here is all of this in parentheses. So at first, I'm really not going to worry about this. I don't really care what's underneath that circle right now. I just want to get it by itself. So you can see, I think that the same couple of steps are going to apply here. I'll add 1 to get rid of the 1 on each, and then I'll divide by 4 to get rid of the 4. So add 1 to each side, perfectly fair. We have 4 these things equals 36. This says 4 times the thing in parentheses squared. Divide both sides by 4. And 36 divided by 4 gets us this 9 here. And now I have to worry again about what was in the circle. So what was in there again? It was x minus 20. So x minus 20 squared equals 9. Almost done. Now we're ready for the square roots. We've got the thing squared by itself. So this thing here squared is 9. So this thing has to be 3, or this thing has to be negative 3. I had a little mistake there. Okay. So that thing that's in the circle could be 3 because then 3 squared is 9, or it could be negative 3. So that thing is 3, or that thing is negative 3. Last step, add 20 to each side, right? We need to get that x by itself for our final answer. So add 20 to each side, and we've got either x equals 3 plus 20 is 23, or on the other side, on the other equation here, if we add 20 to each side, we get x equals 17. And there are our two answers. Just to make sure, let's check one of these. If I take that 17 and go all the way to the start here,